We cutting loose.
That's right, guys. We're cutting loose over here with DWMOD Podcast. That's Disagree With Me or Don't. And it is time. It is time again this week for the Big 6 Picks with our special guest picker in the house. You guys are in for a treat. Everybody that's tuned into us over the years before, you already know this gentleman. If you're new to us with Cutting Loose, let me tell you a little bit about what this guy has done. He's a stand-up comedian, very seasoned stand-up comedian, featured at the Comedy Store in LA, things like that. He's a writer on BET's Average Joe, writer on The Last OG with Tracy Morgan. This guy, he's a writer and involved in all of any show you could have seen on Comedy Central that had to do with Jeffrey Ross and the roast battles. And yes, he was a writer and worked on the Tom Brady roast that I'm sure everybody had watched that. He wrote his own feature. You can catch it on Tubi. It's an animated called Big Brother. Awesome film. I'll let him talk a little bit about that when he gets on here. Let's welcome to the show, Jerron Horton.
Yo, what up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be back on this podcast. You have the most fun podcast I've ever done, man. I love talking degenerate shit. Especially when it comes to
We are going to get into it. And speaking of degenerates, my producer Louie over here, he forgot to play the intro song. He's blaming me. He says I didn't. He said I didn't take a breath to give it to him. So we'll hit it right now for you, Louie. Go ahead and do what you got to do, man.
Touchdown.
Ready? College football is now B1G versus SEC.
Down. Hook.
If you ain't listening to All Right Bet with me and Andy St. Clair, you're throwing away money.
Ready?
All Lions fans drinking that Kool-Aid. Super Bowl. Hey, disagree with me or don't. That's how it works. Okay, there we go for Louie. He worked hard and long on that, so there we go. We'll let him have it.
You got it. Good job, Louie.
Yeah, nice job on that. So, my man, just getting back off the road, back home, settling in. What were you doing out in LA? What was that like, man?
I was out in LA. I was doing some stand-up, but I was also working on Torching 2024, which you can watch on Netflix right now. Jeff Ross, Tim Dillon, Sam Morril, Mark Norman, Miss Pat, all just
Nice.
and Hannah Berner, all just making fun of the year. It was a nice recap of what went down in 2024. It was cool to just be out there with my friends and just like having a good time, man. Having a good time.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like to make a little money writing a few jokes during the holidays, right? I'll take that every day.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. Like, that's the way to bring in the new year, man. Like, a lot of us sit around contemplating things of the year, what went well, what didn't go well, what I'm going to do this next year. I can't think of a better way than just sitting around the room with a bunch of buddies and just cracking jokes on what was terrible about the last year.
Yeah.
I mean, that would just be that.
Yeah,
that
it's
has to
crazy.
be amazing.
It's weird because like the years go by so quickly, but you don't realize how much actually happened in a year until you sit down and look back at it. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I only really remember the last 2 or 3 months.
Right.
Just that's stored in my, off the top of my head. But going back and with the Gypsy Rose stuff and even the Kendrick and Drake beef felt like a year
Yeah.
ago. You know what I'm saying? It didn't
Right.
feel so I don't know. It was cool. It was nice to just sit back and reflect. Even just like you were saying, you mentioned the Brady roast. Like I don't know. I feel like so much time has passed since that. It felt like so long ago. That was just at the top of the year, So
Yeah, it was just at the top of the year, man. It's crazy how fast that stuff goes by. Let's touch on that for a minute now. People that are new to us from Cutting Loose. Now, you worked on the Tom Brady roast. That thing with more viewers than any other show in the history of the damn internet or something, didn't it?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I think they just dropped the at least the comedy specials uh views or minutes viewed. I think like it had 2.9 billion minutes viewed, and then the second place comedy special had like 350 million minutes viewed. So just that difference is insane when you just look at the numbers. But yeah, like I mean, I think it broke like Bluey's record and Grey's Anatomy's record at the time. But I think I think what's it called broke the record for. I mean, it's different genre, but I think that the Tyson Jake Paul fight, that kind of broke the Netflix record of like
Yeah.
most watched thing live. But before that, it was definitely the Brady roast. Like that was
Well, I tell you
absolutely.
what, when you watch that Brady roast, you can see how much time and effort goes into writing and scripting something like that. Much like that Tyson fight, felt very much the
Yeah.
same
Oh
way.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Terrible. It
Yeah.
was terrible.
But we all knew it was good. We all knew that was going to happen. Like that's the thing is like, how can we be surprised at this point? We know what exhibition boxing is.
Yeah,
But to be fair, they've been doing this for years. You know what I'm saying? Like Jake
yeah.
Paul did not reinvent the wheel. Ali used to have these fights. Mayweather still has exhibition fights.
Still does. Still does.
Yeah, yeah.
The
So,
only
you
thing I
know,
did, like we talked about it a little bit before a couple episodes ago, but the only thing I didn't care for at all was my man's 60 years old, and you had to have in the contract that he's not allowed to uppercut you. He's not allowed to, like, if he finished the fight
what?
in the first 3 rounds. Yeah, this was like in the contract. Tyson was not allowed to throw his signature uppercut. You didn't see it once
Mm,
during the fight. He
yeah.
wasn't allowed to throw that at all. And if the fight ended in the first 3 rounds, I think Tyson got like a ridiculous, like 15% of what he was supposed to get or something. So he wasn't allowed to be aggressive early when he wasn't tired. It was like you're that scared
Wow.
of the dude, man. It was bad.
Hey, man. I mean, that's the thing. When you have money, you can make the world you want to live in. You can create that world you want to live in,
Yeah.
and it's working for him. If I could do what Jake Paul was doing, I would.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I
If
don't
I
know.
could, if I
I
could,
don't
if I
know.
could square up with Mike Tyson for $100 million in six
Yeah.
months and make him
Yeah.
and make him take it easy on me,
That's the sad.
I do the same thing. I do
He
the
made
same
him wear
thing.
the extra heavy gloves and shit.
Yeah,
And then
made him
I
show
heard
his ass.
he made him show his ass to his own son on the way out the room. Like that was crazy. That was crazy. Then he had to do 200 push-ups before the
Yeah,
first round or something. It was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
It's ridiculous, man.
yeah.
Ridiculous. Well, speaking of prize fighting, though, that's a good little segue to get into your original film, your animated film, Big Bruh. You guys can
Oh
catch
yeah.
that on Tubi. Now that's about a boxer who's a little too big for his britches and realizes he's some kind of asshole and he needs to get
Yeah.
his life right. Yeah.
So yeah, Big Bruh, it's on Tubi. Please check it out. It's about a boxer who gets a reality check. Uh, Killer Mike plays the lead. I got Byron Bow. A lot of funny comedians in there. A lot of some of my favorite comedians: Byron Bowers, Fahim Anwar, Jeremiah Watkins, Jamar Neighbors. Just go check it out. Check it out on Tubi.
Yeah, absolutely check it out, man. It's hilarious. I love the grandmother character is
Oh,
hilarious to
Punky
me.
Johnson. It's been so long. Yeah, I haven't watched it in so long. Like I need to revisit it and just like
Yeah, it's funny, man.
appreciate.
I love when she drops the knowledge at the end to the little kid and she says, "Listen, you got to make a choice. Do you want to be poor or do you want to be happy?" Like, dude, that is life right there, man. It seems like we always got to make that choice. Do I want to sell my soul or do I want to be happy? Do I want the money or do I want my soul? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
funny, man.
Yeah.
No, it's great. You guys definitely go check that out, man. Now, last time you were on the show, we got a little bit in depth into some of the Tom Brady, like how the whole thing was, the wheels were spinning the whole time. Who's coming in? Who's coming out? Let's touch a little bit on that for the new folks at Kuttin Loose. So that process was rapidly changing right up to the moment that it was going live, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, the show, I mean, I feel like it was only Drew Bledsoe and Julian Edelman like booked for like the first 2.5 weeks.
Oh
Like
man.
it was so hard to book that show because people didn't want to, roast like, and it was live and when one person said yes, then everybody started saying yes, and people who were offered to do the show heard that so and so was doing it. They were like, okay, I'll do it too. Kevin Hart was on from the beginning too. He was the host from the beginning. But like it was just a lot of scrambling, just a lot. I mean, that's why and then the show ended up being 3 hours long. It should not have worked, but it worked. You know what I'm saying? Everybody didn't have the greatest set. There were a few bombs on there, but like, the show worked and it shouldn't have, but it did. Like
No, it's great,
it's
man.
it's going to be hard to recreate something like that. We were absolutely 100% robbed of an Emmy.
Oh
Um,
man, yeah.
we should have. There's no way that any other production should have beat. We lost to the Oscars.
What?
An award show gave an award show an award.
And,
Like we lost to the
and the
Oscars.
award show that everyone complains about every year as being so bad and so overtime limit with exhaustive speeches that nobody wants to watch, and then they give them the Emmy.
Well, it's just because of the content that was being created. It was like, it was wild. It was a lot of shit. Like, the Brady roast, quote unquote, brought comedy back. That's what a lot of people say. That's what a lot of people say. And there were a lot of things said on it that were very offensive to, I guess, half the country.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
and I think that Hollywood didn't want to award that behavior. But it is what it is.
Whatever.
The streets. You know what I'm saying? They made their choice on what was the thing was the live event to watch of the year.
Well, it wasn't. I'll tell you that right now. Let me ask you this. Of all the people, early on, you're like, people are on the fence. They don't want to get in and all that. Was there anybody that, like, as people started filing in, that you guys had to go back to and say, you're too late, man. We're full. We don't got no room for you now.
No,
you know what I mean?
no,
Okay,
no.
great.
No, everyone who got an offer was able to do the show if they were able to do it. There are some people who said no at first and then, then hopped on, but no one was like, nah, it's too late. Like, nah, it was like the show was pretty high profile in who they went out to. When it came to the celebrity side as well as the athlete side of, so I mean I think it was casted pretty damn well. Like as
Yeah.
far as Robert Kraft did pull a Logan Roy and push his way onto the roast. But it was cool that he was there because you had the moments. I mean, even with getting Belichick, like we didn't know we were gonna have him until it was like so late. And if you look at literally everybody's life is different now. Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's life is dramatically different. Like after the roast, everybody who did the roast,
especially Bill Belichick, like they kind of opened the window a little bit to like, oh, this guy might be entertaining. We might be able to put him on TV. It won't be like a press conference, you know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
and it's like he can be out with his girlfriend and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and then Belichick for him as soon as he took that UNC job, he was like, I don't have any time for this anymore. Put her out the door.
Did he?
That's what I heard. Who knows? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's crazy.
I've
been, on the football front, man. I've been getting my ass kicked, man. You've been kind enough not to bring it up. This has been a rough week.
Well, we're gonna get to that. You ain't gonna dodge that. We're gonna get to talking a little bit of Falcons, no doubt about it. But
Georgia, man,
and Georgia last night. Now, was Belichick the hardest one to nail down to get on the show?
I think it was Peyton Manning.
Oh yeah?
Surprisingly, it was Peyton Manning. There's a real competition between him and Brady. It's real. It's real.
Mentioned it during his Hall of Fame speech. Didn't he say something about Brady during his speech or something?
Probably. I don't remember. I don't really watch the I'll catch them. I never really tune. I always miss the Hall of Fame speeches, and then I'll like rewatch it when it's posted or something. I never really tune in, so I don't think I even saw his. But their rivalry is like real. It's like a real, still going on, competitive. Like, I gotta beat that guy. Like, and I think he was the hardest one to like get to commit. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. In your opinion, who was the funniest athlete, like non-comedian, like athlete entertainer that you guys had on? Who was the most naturally funny and performed the best, you thought?
I mean, the easy answer is Gronk.
Okay.
That's the easy answer, but I think that it's easy for him because the character that he plays, like
Sure.
he's good at leaning into the to what people think he is, but I also don't think he is as dumb as he puts on.
Sure.
He's a lot smarter than that, and he's just like it's kind of like Snoop Dogg, like how Snoop
Yeah.
is his brand is like weed. Like he's got it made in the shade, like his with what people want from him.
Yeah.
They want the like chill, laid back
Yep.
smoker, and I think with
Yep.
Gronk, they just want the like the dumb
Lovable
jock party
idiot.
guy,
Yeah.
lovable idiot. And so for him, it's like it's cakewalk for him to play that role. Like, yeah, I'll lean into it. That's what's that's what I'm selling, and that's what people are continuing to buy. But he was really funny. But I would say Drew Bledsoe, just because he
Yeah.
was writing his own joke. Like he was a part of the writers' room essentially. Like he was sending in jokes constantly. He was hearing like people were being added to the dais, and he was like writing jokes like, I got what do y'all think about this? Boom, boom. Like he's sending
That's
emails
great.
in with yeah.
That's
So
great.
I would say Drew Bledsoe because he like put in a lot of work. Gronk didn't get locked in until like maybe like a week before because he couldn't commit to it because he was supposed to do a wedding, and then they sent a jet for him that flew him out there the day before, like a
Okay.
private
All
jet
right.
from whatever island he was on. Like imagine just living the life,
Imagine.
man.
Yeah. Imagine.
Imagine.
Shit, guys. Hold on. I gotta get on this plane real quick. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah.
Fucking what? You know what I mean? Like the life, man. The life.
But
All right.
Gronk has said that it's changed his life. Like people think that he's a comedian. He said that's what Jeff has been saying. He's been telling Jeff that people think that he's know him. There's people that come up to him like thinking he's a comedic actor or something that don't
Oh,
even know
people
he
that
plays
don't know
football.
sports. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. People could be like that. Like, oh, I saw this guy in this thing. He's funny. And you're like, he's a football player.
yeah,
They
yeah,
don't
yeah,
have any idea. That's hilarious, man.
yeah.
That's hilarious. Listen, one more question on this thing now. Uh the famous Tom Brady switch. Did you get to see that where like he's got a switch where he's just kind of like normal,
Oh
regular
yeah,
kicking it, and then boom. All right, it's time to get to work.
definitely, definitely. He's competitive, very competitive, very likable. That's coming from a Falcons fan. Like he's
That's
very
tough.
charming, and then also when he turns on his like competitive spirit, you see it, and it's like, fuck you, fuck this, like like his delivery, and like he did a great job having to go last and having to take all those hits. He had to go last on that 3 hour
Yeah,
show. He still
yeah,
delivered it well. Like he didn't stumble. He didn't like he was practiced it like he did a game script. Like
yeah.
uh like I mean, not that he needs any more, but he definitely earned my respect. Just working with him for the week that he came into the writers' room when we were at the forum. Like he was, we saw him a bunch that week, and he took the hits, and it was cool. It was just crazy. It was just crazy. Like it was to date, it was the greatest production I've ever been a part of. Like my favorite. It was the greatest too. It was the most watched thing that I've ever done. But it was I'm appreciative of everything I've ever done, but that was like by far the coolest thing to date. It was
Yeah.
incredible.
Well, it had to been. It had to been. It's like the best of both worlds for guys like you and me that are, I want to say, niche. It's a little bigger than niche, but like in the entertainment industry, it's not a lot of people that are enormous sports fans. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah,
very theatrical type of I don't, it's not my word, but people always throw the word nerd around like, I'm nerds because they like Star Wars. I like Star Wars. I don't know why you get to be called a nerd for that. But anyway, I'm
yeah,
just saying it's a very entertainment world, and like people that are diehard sports fans, that's not a big population. So to be able to be in that room with everything that you think is cool, because I don't know about you, but like for me, I
oh
like the
yeah,
experience of being in the in entertainment because I like this kind of thing. And people that met me wouldn't know that. They think I'm just some jock that just like sports,
yeah,
but like I love all that other stuff too. And there's not a lot of us in that circle that like, that cross over like that. Like people wouldn't think they could sit down and extensively talk about like Star Wars with somebody like me. And I'd be like, no, I know a lot about it. I love it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a cool world to be in. So that room in itself had to be amazing. Your sports heroes, your comedy heroes, entertainment heroes.
For sure. I mean, even just like, I mean, just standing at as we were putting the jokes into the prompter with Kevin, because I was working with him like all the whole day of the roast, all the way up to the tape. I mean, to be able to work with him from 10 a.m. until 4:57 when he goes on at 5, like the whole time where he's doing stuff for other productions that he's a part of, making cameos and like doing like he's busy. He's just 100% professional. Like that was such one of my favorite things about that is being able to work closely with Kevin Hart and watching how hard he works, like, and seeing what it takes to be like at the top. And we're standing at the prompter. I got getting to work with Dana White too was cool. Like, and just getting to talk with him and pitch him a few jokes. That was fun. Because I know Tony like, connected us. Me and Benji helped Dana, like he came in the day before for rehearsal, and it was cool just getting to sit back in his dressing room and like kind of run a few things by him, and also pitch him a few jokes. I pitched him a few UFC jokes that he just was like it was more a lot of inside baseball in with the organization, and just watching how he would react to it. I don't want to share those jokes specifically because I'm a huge UFC fan, and I would love to be a guest at one of the pay-per-views one day. That's definitely something. But that was cool too, getting because I love the UFC and just being able to work with the fucking president of the UFC.
Yeah, you got to meet a lot of cool people on that.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's so to be in that room, going, like I said, going over the prompter with Kevin. He's Robert Kraft comes over to say hi. You got Dana White over there. We're going over his bit. You got Bill Belichick standing across the room running his thing. You got Gronk chest bumping with Willie McGinnis, who's there. Like, who else is there? Rodney Harrison was there. Like, I mean, like, there's so many athletes there that I'm like, oh shit.
But one day they will make a movie about this that'll kind of be like that SNL movie. It'll just be like an hour-and-a-half movie about like the hour-and-a-half leading up to going live. And all these characters you're talking about backstage and shit, like that's a movie. I should
fucking write that.
Yeah, you were there, and you should write it while it's fresh, because that's a movie, and people will watch that, man.
Yeah,
people will watch that, no doubt about it. I would definitely be into that, especially if you can get a lot of those folks involved and get real inside baseball and some of the things that were going on. Is like the small scene of you and Dana in his room. It's like that's a movie, man. That's phenomenal, man. I just love it. Now I got to ask you before we move on here.
That's a great idea.
Well, that's what I'm good for, man. Ideas, man. That's it. Did Tom Brady apologize to you for the Super Bowl against the Falcons, man?
No, man, not at all. No. He said he was marking his territory.
Oh, that's what he said?
Yeah. I was like, chill, when he brought up Atlanta and he was talking, on Zoom, because when I Zoomed, like a few of us got to Zoom with him while he was in Florida, and he's like, talking shit about that win, and he's like, I want to, like he was not apologetic. He was talking shit. Like it wasn't like no humble. It wasn't no humble, like, fake humble shit. Like it was like
that's that top tier athlete shit. They ain't
it was like I thought he was gonna be like Peyton Manning. At least I don't know him intimate. I don't know him personally.
Yeah.
And I haven't worked closely with him either. Like he kind of came in. He showed up like, I guess when he showed up, I think he showed up like right when the show started, and was working with the people he was working with. I didn't get to work with him, but from what I would get from Peyton, he's very, man, just humble. Yeah. Like just says the right things. And like Brady is very like, he's more like, Just I don't know how to pronounce, like, just says what I think he just can say and do what he wants, but he's not like a
Yeah.
dick. He's
Right,
just
right.
like
Just
that's
very
his
matter of
thing.
fact, very direct. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
the thing.
He's like he talks like if someone were writing a movie about Tom Brady,
Yeah,
he talks like how his character would talk in the
yeah.
movie. Like
Right,
very
right,
like
right.
let's fucking go. Like hell yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. I get you. I get you. I
yeah.
get you for sure. Well, amazing, amazing experience, man. I can't wait to read the script to this thing because I do love that idea. And speaking of sports legends, we got to pay a quick bill right here, Jerron. And we've got to get to my man, former minor league baseball Hall of Fame announcer Gordon Butterfield. You know the drill. He is on the call for what just happened.
What just happened? What just happened is brought to you by the Joyview Meats Market. Don't go to the grocery store for those price gouge packaged proteins. That's not even a whole pound. Do yourself a favor and head over to Joyview Meats Market. This family's been serving the community since 1969. And they're serving the best cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. Not to mention the best fresh ground Polish kielbasa you'll find anywhere in Detroit. Smoked or fresh. That's the Joyview Meat Market right on Joy Road and Telegraph. Support the neighborhood and tell them Gordon sent you. Young Gustav and Sven are gearing up to be the next Siegfried and Roy, and they'll start with the classic tablecloth yank. But that's Grandma's wagon china on the table. That's a bad idea. Oh, no shots to Narnia. Look out, Sven. I think the cabinet killed him. 90% of magical accidents happen in the homestead. Oh my, that escalated too quick for the human eye. Let's take another look. Gustav is setting up for the tablecloth pull, and Sven thinks the best place to stand is right behind him. But at least his instincts are telling him to cover up his stuff. But then he goes fainting goat. I don't even think he felt the cabinet. He's already out cold. Then Gustav's got the skill set of a good getaway driver. He sees this thing going south, and he's on the lam. On a positive note, none of the china broke until the cabinet hit it. That's the one-way ticket to Narnia. Oh, what just happened?
Oh, I mean, I think that
That
kid
was
is,
so
he
funny.
may be dead.
Yeah, that was wild. What the fuck?
What are those kids doing?
Yeah, and how old is that video?
Oh man, I don't know. Probably right after Narnia came out in paperback or something.
Yeah, that shit looks old.
Oh man.
That
Well, they
TV
might just
was
be poor
fucking.
kids.
That TV was thick.
That's
That shit-
happening somewhere down the road from me right now, somewhere in the backwoods of Georgia where I'm now at. That's what's happening somewhere.
Oh
right
yeah.
here.
Oh yeah.
Gordon, a brilliant play by Gordon. All right, my man, let's jump into this week's segment of quick hits, and I'm gonna have to put you back on the hook for some of that football stuff. All right, well, the season has just caught up with the Georgia Bulldogs, man. Notre Dame, tip of the cap.
Come on,
Great
bro.
football game by them last night. You know, the season just caught up with Georgia. They've been scraping out wins, had a great season, a little banged up, not the same amount of talent that they've normally had, but really the only SEC team to show up. I mean, every other team that cried about getting in the playoffs got bombed by not good football teams. I mean, Michigan made Alabama look mediocre. Tennessee got hammered by Ohio State. You know, so I think this whole playoff thing, I don't know where your opinion is on a lot of this playoff stuff, but all the crying about what teams got left out because their conference is so much damn better, they didn't show it.
I mean, I think there's a lot of things at play, starting with the money, right?
Oh,
A lot of these kids got one foot out the door. A lot of them already have the comfort of like just not needing to prove yourself every time you step on that field because you've got a couple mil in your bank, or maybe not everyone's making that much money, but still like the idea of like I can just go somewhere else and make some money. It like the bowl games don't mean shit.
Well,
They don't mean, and they mean even less, with the expanded playoff. And just, you know, that the Georgia loss. First of all, let me just say I'm surprised that we made it this far. But just the season was like this was this was the worst Georgia team in a while. Like it
And
showed,
this is a team that makes it to the quarterfinals. You know what I mean? So that shows you how good you have it as a Georgia fan. That's a good football team. They're just not good enough to win it all this year. You know?
Yeah, the thing about it is, I think that just with I knew when they postponed that game that I was like, this is not good. That's not good. And Notre Dame was just more prepared. But I hated we've got the Gunner making his first start and then having the psychological like, oh fuck, actually it's gonna be tomorrow. Like having to get back ready again. Like I don't know. He did the best he could. I don't blame him for anything.
He did fine. He did fine. I mean,
the O-line was trash. Bobo was trash.
Bad.
I hate that we brought Bobo back. Yeah, yesterday just a lot did not go our way.
Yeah. The kick return.
The kick return, the penalty with the man on the sideline interference, like the fumble in the red zone.
Hey, let's talk about that sideline interference real quick. They kept showing that kid's face. I wish I had a video of it. I couldn't find it. His face, his buddy's next to him, like making a joke about it and laughing and shit. And my man's face is just like this the whole time. Like, no, man, this shit ain't funny, man. This is on camera. I'm probably cut. You know what I mean? Like, he was terrified.
I feel that you don't ever want that to happen to anybody. That's just a shitty feeling. It's like the guy who it's the equivalent of the Cubs fan who interfered with the thing. I don't really watch baseball.
Yeah.
But it's like that, where just wrong place, wrong time, just celebrating with the team. Why the fuck would the ref call that? Like he didn't. It's not like how like when Tomlin tripped that ref over. It at least seemed like it was intentional. This is just a guy on the sidelines celebrating. He wasn't on the field. The ref ran into him. He was in the white
experience. I'm going to tell you why that gets called. When I was coaching at Calabasas, we were in the semifinals for the CIF championship, and the game is tied. Well, we're up. And our running back breaks a run. He's gone. He's breaking it. He's gone. He's got by everybody. Only the safety can stop him. The safety ended up tripping him up. But as the guy was the sideline referee was running down the side, he ran right into me because I was like right out in the white because I was, running the O-line. And I'm looking in the plays going and I'm turned and I'm like, go. He ran right into me. Boom, 15-yarder. Pulled it back. I was like, he goes, hey, if I violently run into one of you guys that I've told you all game long, get out of the white, because when a big play happens, I got to run here. If I run into one of you guys, that's flag, man. I'm not giving you a warning. And
it was at the beginning of the game. It was at the beginning of the game. The ref was not, he did not interfere with something that the ref needed to be there for. The guy got tackled.
Yeah.
And this is what bothers me. Is
he was pissed off.
He was pissed. It was an angry flag. But where's the fucking? We didn't get the fucking. They roughed the kicker 2 plays in a row in the beginning of the game. The same guy, and they didn't even like. It was the same 5 yards both times.
He was all jacked up. That dude had like 4 flags in the game, man. All for like just antsy shit like that, man.
Yeah, it was just like it was just an amalgam of just like anything that could go wrong. It was Murphy's Law yesterday, and Georgia made it a lot farther than we should have. But the telltale sign that we weren't going to do much this year is the fact that Carson Beck was our starting quarterback. How many fucking good quarterbacks do you know sit on the bench for 5 fucking years?
Yeah.
How many good quarterbacks? And we didn't have nobody to replace him. But I'm just saying, like, even when he started last year, like I know he started last year, but I'm saying like he's been on that team for fucking ever. And all of our other guys, all the other recruits that we had that committed flipped. The Dylan Raiola, Arch Manning.
This is going to be Jerron. This is going to be the new reality of NIL. every good championship, like dynasty style team like Georgia is going to go through patterns like this where you're going to have to spell 2 years trying to plug a quarterback in because nobody wanted to come there while you have your quarterback. Any quarterback that's on the bench behind Stetson Bennett and whatever while you're winning all these titles, they're hitting the portal and getting the hell out of there. You're going to wind up in a spot just like this where the kid that stuck around 5 years is going to have to start next year because nobody wanted to come here.
Yeah.
Because we were already lined up, you know?
I like Gunnar Nelson. I would rather enter the year with him, our starter, than Carson Beck. We've seen what Carson Beck can do. Carson is cool, but like I need something new. And we got Jalen Rashada, like on the he must not be that good if he couldn't take Gunner's spot. Because Gunner to me is like, he's like if you build everything else around him, I think that he could lead a team to a championship. But he's not game changing. Yeah. And so I don't know what we're gonna do, man. And Georgia's not getting a lot of like I remember we used to be getting all the 5-star guys, all the 4-star guys.
Yeah.
And it's rare now. Like I'm not seeing anybody come to Georgia anymore. There's something going on.
Yeah, money's everywhere now.
Yeah, but even then, it's still like there's certain teams that are still consistently getting recruits, like Texas, Alabama, Texas, Ohio State, Michigan, USC, Oregon. I'm like, we need to figure it out because I cannot. I've already had the taste of greatness. Can't go back to being like.
Well, that never continues forever. I'm gonna tell you that right now, man. Now that game getting delayed though, that definitely favored Notre Dame because I'm telling you right now, it was one thing that Catholics know, it's sitting around in boredom and being told what to do. You know what I mean? They're very good at doing that. You ever been to a Catholic mass? Stand up, sit down, kneel, be quiet. Be bored, be quiet. Stand up, sit down, kneel. All right, y'all are dismissed. Dismissed. I tell you, that's why they dominated the game, man. They're like, yeah. What do you want me to do?
Man.
That's how that
went. And we just, and it bothers me. I'm like, why don't we have the number one running back in the nation? Georgia should always have the number one.
You thought that was ETN. They went out and got him, and he wasn't. He got hurt.
He wasn't even close. He wasn't even that good in Florida. Yeah. Like,
yeah. That's what they thought, though.
It's like it just bothers me. I'm like, but and bringing back Mike Bobo, like that to me is like, I already survived you with Mark Richt, and now he's back. Who does he have pictures of?
Not a fan
in Georgia. No, Bobo is trash, and like he came to a championship team and installed that bullshit. Like, there's nobody working under Monken that we could have plucked.
Somebody,
man,
should have got somebody.
We're down 2 touchdowns with less than 2 minutes to go, and we're throwing to the fucking flats.
Trying to keep it safe for the quarterback. I hear you. Well, listen, we're gonna get into something that's gonna be probably even a little more heartbreaking for you now. NFL playoffs right around the corner. Hey, for those just listening on the podcast, we came back from the clippage. Ron's just double hooting me, double birds flying over here, falconing me. I'm telling you, listen, the biggest debacle of the season, the biggest letdown of the season. We have a small video over here. There's Falcons are flying along, heading right toward the playoffs, cruising in the beautiful summer air. Oh, what's happened? What just happened to the season right there, man? 7 straight losses. That bird just blew up. One more time. Look at this. They got 2 wins, 3 wins, 4 wins. Lost. Cousins. Oh, what happened, man? Just went up in smoke, man. But on the bright side, Penix looks like was the right pick, which you and I agreed on when we talked about earlier in the season. We were like, yeah, fine with that. Good pick. He looks like he's going to be really, really good. The bright side is there. They could have pulled that game out last week against DC, man. They'd be in the playoffs.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, man. I've decided that, for the last 3 years, I've had amazing seats at the Falcons game. And for the last 3 years, I've dealt with the exact same
Yep.
thing as an investor in the team. Uh, a team that is not putting, or an organization that is not putting the best team on the field at all time. Like
I
from
feel like they tried
no,
this year. I mean, the Cousins move. Now, look, in retrospect, nobody
no,
saw this collapse coming. Week 2,
no,
3, 4, 5, 6. He's player of the week, 500 yards. I mean, it
I'm
looked like
I'm
they had
listen,
it together.
I'm not I was singing his praises too. But what I'm saying is you gotta think about the way we handled this situation from the very beginning. The signs were there the whole time. How many series did Kirk Cousins play in the preseason?
Oh, none, man, none. Like 3, something
How
like
many
that.
did Michael Penix play? Kirk Cousins didn't play.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins didn't play in the preseason.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
And Penix played how many series did he play?
I did not follow. Did they play him a
He
lot, or was he
played he
scared from getting
played
hurt?
he played like a series. He played like, I think he threw like 4 or 5 passes.
In the whole preseason?
Yes, and
That's boneheaded. No, that's boneheaded now.
they benched him. He wasn't taking any reps with the ones throughout the season at practice.
That's stupid.
We spent the first 4 games of the regular season. They were our preseason games. Kirk getting used to the offense, and also realizing, hey, he's limiting our offense. And Kirk did a lot of great things for us. I'm not a Kirk Cousins hater. It's not his fault. It's the organization's fault. It's the coaching. To know that he was hurt, and when he threw his arm out he got hurt in the Saints game,
Yeah.
and so did Koo. So did Koo. By the way, Koo
cut him. Did they just cut him?
I've been saying Koo has been trash forever.
Terrible. You know how much money he's cost me this year?
Man, Younghoe Koo, thank you for what you did, but he is the product of a terrible the terrible red zone offense that the Falcons have had for the last 7 years. In that he's padding his stats with these 40-yard field goals because we can't score touchdowns. And so in our mind,
soccer.
It's terrible. Yeah, exactly.
He's terrible, man.
But but again, it's like the organization not being prepared. And then when we are prepared with Penix, it's like once you bench your $180 million quarterback, you can't go back to him. But no. Kirk should have been on the bench a long time ago, and they let him play 5 games where he was not the answer.
Yeah, they should have benched him earlier. They should have benched him earlier, and they knew it.
And this is the second year in a row where we're walking into week 18, needing help to get into the playoffs because we squandered the season. We're not gonna
lose to the Saints, bro.
Yeah, and don't think I didn't even hope that maybe they would be rallying for the city this week. There's just no way on paper. The Bucks are clicking, and you could just to be able to go back to all the little tiny. There's so many tiny moments throughout the season where we should have clinched the NFC South 3 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go back and look at all the moments, and so
easily blew it.
Yeah, and then so we come down to Sunday Night Football, a game that we should not have. Like I was worried, but I'm like, we can win this game. We always win the games that we should lose on the road against the hot Redskins, playing in the rain, Sunday Night Football with our rookie quarterback making his second start. We should lose this game, but we're going to win this game. But they did everything on paper to fucking lose that game. And to see us not correct the mistakes from not calling the timeout at the end of the second quarter to it now being in the same exact position. Like, what do you mean? There's a process to calling a timeout. Everybody in the world who has played football, who has watched football,
12-year-olds playing Madden, we're calling timeout.
Sports in general. When you have the ball and you are trying to win the game and you are running out of time and you have timeouts, you call timeouts.
Yeah.
So And for him to watch him fuck that up twice in the same game, and then we just should have lost it so many fucking times.
Yeah. I'll tell
And
you
then
what,
to
man.
lose it the way we lost it, it's like
in overtime, and that's
can't.
another thing I'm going to say too, is like there's such a copycat league where guys just will not change their mind on how you're supposed to operate. Show me the numbers on overtime. That's why these guys get so excited when they win the coin toss, because if they score a touchdown, they're going to win, because they go down and score a touchdown almost every damn time. The first team that gets the ball, who couldn't score all game, will go right down the field and score, because these defensive coordinators get in this we don't want to lose the game mode. And they get into these shell defenses where you're going to give up the middle of the field. We'll give up little chunks, bend but don't break. We don't want to give up the big play. You know what you ought to be doing? Playing fucking defense like you did the whole game. They sit back and then these offensive coordinators know it. And they dink and dunk you, dink, 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 dunk, and they go right into the end zone. It frustrates me to no end every time I watch it.
It's the NFL should not, as hard nosed as this game is, should never end in a tie. So when you go to fucking overtime, both teams should have a chance to possess the ball. Like, simple as that. There's what does the sudden death give us? It just it's luck.
You know where that comes from, though?
No.
That comes from the Players Association. They're like, they don't want to be playing the extra reps. The guys don't. They're worried about their money and they're worried about their injuries. Like that, the Players Association agrees with that. They're like, nope, let's just do that, and then the game's over. And if that one touchdown on one drive costs you from getting into playoffs, that's on you. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the Players Association. That ain't the league. You know what I mean? And then they just don't want to play the extra downs, man. You know what I mean? If it was up to them, they go to penalty kicks like soccer. If it was up to the Players Association, line up the kickers, both from the 40, and they keep moving back 5 yards till one guy misses. That's what it'll become.
I would honestly, I'd rather see like, you know, like how the college does the 2-point conversion, which I hate.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be like, move it back to the 5 or start it at the 10.
Yeah.
And do it like, you know, one shot to go 10 yards, and then move it up to the 9.
You know why they do that 2-point conversion thing now in college?
For gambling.
Oh, Vegas. Absolutely.
Vegas.
Vegas is like, this will never burn us. Every time someone gets to an overtime, a third overtime, a second overtime, because you have to go for 2.
Yeah.
In the second overtime, you have to go for 2. Like you literally get one try to win the game, and then you have to start going for 2. That's Vegas. Man.
Yeah.
That's Vegas. And they win every one of those
bets. I knew that. Yeah, I knew that as a degenerate, I knew that from the jump. I'm like, oh, that's genius.
This is bullshit.
Like, because the 2-point conversion means nothing.
Yeah.
It means nothing to them. Like, I mean, the point totals might go over, but not how they used to.
No. Nope. Now everything's off by a point count of 2 and 2.5. Oh yeah, for sure, man. Well, I got another interesting fact for you about quarterbacks. We're just going to take 10 seconds to talk about my Detroit Lions in a big game this weekend. Check this out. Astonishing. Jared Goff has benefited from 1 defensive pass interference for 5 yards this season. This was as of 2 weeks ago, compared to all these other guys on the list here. I mean, look at some of those numbers there for the people listening at home. I'll run them by you one more time. Stafford, 16 for 240, Darnold, 14, Burrow, 14, Smith, 14, Rodgers, 12, and the MVPs, Allen, 9, Jackson, 5. So it seems like the good quarterbacks aren't getting the DPIs. What's the deal with that, man?
I mean, well, for one, like, Goff doesn't fucking throw the ball.
He's throwing 20-something times a game. He's just not throwing.
That exactly. So when I was looking at that, I was taking it as that he's only gotten 1 defensive pass interference, where everyone else has kind of gotten him multiple.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's I just don't see him. He throws the ball, but he's throwing he throws to the running back most of the time. He's not really.
Oh,
he's not
no
really
way,
like.
man. we got the best damn receiver in the game almost. I'm around saying Brown got a ton of
Hey,
catches.
I'm not knocking. I'm not knocking what you guys do or his ability. I'm just saying the scheme is like they don't really take that many shots. Like
His
as far
completion
as like,
percentage is off the charts.
yeah, he throws.
He ain't getting the call because he's completing the passes and we're declining the flag.
Yeah, you guys have like probably a very like the Rams, in the 99 2000 Rams offense.
Yeah,
it's just
greatest show on
electric.
turf, man.
Yeah, you guys have that type of where you can beat people at any position. Like the Lions are stacked. Like having people want to talk about having multiple receivers that are good, but if you got two great running backs, you know what I'm saying? That like how the Falcons do too. Like we have two great running backs. I mean, Montgomery's hurt, but that really changes the game for you when you got two guys who can just come in and run and control that clock and catch out of the backfield.
Let's get to that point and talk running backs. But one last thing on this DPI, I hate it now that this is now a part of bad teams and chicken shit teams. This is a part of their offense now. When you have a 3rd and long or a 4th and long that you're going for, they don't have plays anymore to try to catch the ball. The play is get a guy isolated on one side of the field, get him running downfield on a streak, the seam, whatever you want to call it, the deep ball, and then the quarterback intentionally underthrows it, and then the guy can't work back through the DB. He tries to fight back through the DB who doesn't even see the ball coming yet, and then they're calling this DPI. This is an organized play that teams are running now, and I hate it.
Georgia did it twice yesterday.
I hate it.
That was our thing where I'm like, we're going for in 4th and 10. Oh God, we're just going to try to draw a PI.
You're just trying to like this ain't basketball, man. We're trying to draw fouls, and then the sidelines will go nuts when they don't get the call. And I'm like, what are we doing here? What is the sport anymore, man? Like that's a strategy for your offense. We're going to try to draw a flag. Why don't you try to go get the first down on a dig route or something, man? I don't know.
Yeah.
Drive me crazy, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of running backs, like you brought it up, man, this year in the NFL has been as I can't remember the guy's name that sings the song anymore, but it's Return of the Back. It's Return of the Back.
Craig
I can't
Mack,
remember
right?
the guy's name.
I don't know.
No, it's I knew it before, man. Mark Morrison.
Okay, yeah.
It's Return to the Back, baby. Look at these running backs are lighting it up. Montgomery, nobody wanted him. Look where the Bears are. Barkley, Giants didn't want him. Look where he's at with the Eagles. Henry with the Ravens. Jacobs with the Packers. On and on this list goes. Your team isn't benefiting from it right now. You got two great backs. You got Algiers. You got Bijan. This is Return to the Back in the NFL, is it not?
It is. I mean, it's nice to see because I hate that, such a premier position when we were growing up, like that, those were the highest paid guys. I feel like them and the quarterbacks were the highest paid. Now they're expendable. And I hate it because it's terrible for fantasy when you've got fucking teams with committee. I hate committee bags. Now I don't count a two headed monster as a committee. Right. That's a two-headed monster.
Yeah, you could play Montgomery or Gibbs, you're getting points.
Yes, for them. I mean, for the Falcons, even though I think another issue is we don't play Algier enough. Even though Bijan, anyway, whatever.
Yeah, gotcha.
But like the Broncos drive me fucking crazy. The Broncos drive me fucking crazy.
Yeah. And it's like these guys can't stop with the copycat shit. It's only been the last couple of years we've seen teams getting back to even drafting a running back in the first round. That was unheard of 5 years ago. You wouldn't even have thought of doing that. Now they're starting to do that again. And these front offices, I mean, we saw it play out on Hard Knocks with the Giants. GM was like, nah, we don't want Barkley. We don't need Barkley. And then Morrill's like, if he signs with the Eagles, it's going to be hard for me to sleep, man. You know what I mean? And then right along the lines of Mark Morrison, Mora had to go back in the office and tell the guy, you lied to me. It's return of the back, man. The NFL, the backs are back, and the front offices, this whole you don't value running backs, you don't pay running backs, you lied to me. You better start paying them because they look like they're turning franchises around.
I'm honestly surprised it took Jahmyr Gibbs this long to be the guy. Like, and I know this is only his second year, but I thought that he was going to. I thought that Montgomery was going to get lost early in that backfield last year. Like, I thought Gibbs was just going to be the front
he was looking
runner.
electric. Yeah,
but David Montgomery is the go-to guy. Like, I've always drafted him. He's so consistent. He always gets the first touchdown, and I feel like they, Dan and Ben Johnson, that's y'all's offense coordinator, right?
Yeah.
They scripted that way to like let David get his, because Jahmyr's going to close this out, and it's like I think what they have works so well. I'm very excited to see what I hate that y'all aren't healthy all the way around, because I want if the Falcons can't go to the Super Bowl, I want a healthy Lions versus a healthy Ravens. That matchup to me just screams like an explosive.
I would love to see that, or what I predicted at the beginning of the year, Lions-Bills. That's an explosive game. We already saw that game when the Lions were down 16 people and the Bills beat us by one score late. You know what I mean? It's like that game was 40, what was it, 46-42 or something like that? I mean,
that was a good game.
It's a hell of a game, and we're banged up, man. Have you ever seen a team in your life watching NFL football? Have you ever seen a team have 16 players from one side of the football on the IR?
That's
on a
crazy.
53-man roster? It's nuts. We lost the best pass rusher in the league, next to Watt probably, right? But we lose Aiden Hutchinson to a broken leg. Then we lose the best cover linebacker, Pro Bowler, Anzalani, to a broken arm in week 11. And not to mention, we have turned over our complete defensive line and depth. We've lost 6. That's about all you carry on a 53-man roster, 6 interior defense. Lost them all. You flip that game on this weekend against the Vikings, and when you're watching us on defense, it looks like the punt return team is on the field for the whole game. You're going to see all the linebackers are all out. Rodrigo's hurt. Like, we've got guys out there that you're like, that's a special teamer, and he's got to play Sam right now. He's got to play strong linebacker, and he's getting bullied.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we have our whole defensive line is guys off other teams' practice squads right now. It's crazy.
And how did you feel about playing such a hard game on Monday night? Like,
I loved it. We needed to exercise the demons, man. You needed to go up to San Francisco, and especially when San Francisco opened the game the way they did, and we're like, we're gonna punch you guys in the mouth again. You can't beat us. And they wanted to get real physical and challenge us to a fist fight. That's just what the Lions needed. That's just what they needed. They were like, sit down.
They did. The Lions are crazy good. Like, I am surprised that it's still going. After I did not think
this weekend. We didn't even win the division yet. This is the first time in NFL history, Jerron, that 2 14-win teams will face each other in a season.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be
Vikings
exciting.
Beat us,
and I'm glad
we're the 5 seed.
I'm so glad it's Sunday Night Football, the last Sunday night game of the year. It's going to be so fun to watch. Like, after watching the mostly meaningless games on Sunday, that Sunday night game is going to be so good to watch. So, and I hope it's everything we want it to be. I hate that one of those teams is not gonna be able to host a playoff game. Or
that's the way it is, man. That's the way it is, man. All right, let's get to some knock it offs here so we can take this thing home and get to some Big 6 picks.
All right, everyone, time to do me a favor and knock it off.
All right, John, I got to ask you your opinion. Deion Sanders, good coach or not good coach?
I think he is a good coach, because a good coach does not necessarily have to you just have to be able to lead men or women. You just have to be a good leader, and I think he's a great leader.
I'm going to tell you.
Does he make the best
knocking off.
decisions? No.
Bad
Why?
coach. Bad
Why?
coach.
Why?
Great recruiter, like you're saying. Great recruiter. He's got going on in Boulder right now is phenomenal. Every kid in the country wants to go play for him. The Neon Dion show is in bright lights. He's amazing at that stuff. Coaching football, no. 0-6 versus top 25 teams, 2-9 versus power conference teams that have a 500 record or better. I mean, he has done nothing in Colorado. Everybody talks about his record and how good they were. They dumped the game to Kansas at the end of the year to prevent them from playing for the Big 12 championship. Then they started talking all this, the bowl game everybody wants to watch. It's the people's Big 12 champion, the game everybody really wanted, BYU and Colorado. Dion gets extra time to prepare for BYU. Guess what BYU's coach did? Prepared for Colorado. How prepared were the Buffaloes in that game? They played full strength. Nobody sat out. They took the game serious. Both teams wanted to win it, and he got his doors blown off. He's just not a good coach.
Okay, he has made an improvement from last season. I mean, it's his second year at a school who has not had a winning history in a very long time. Sure. And I think and he's doing it at a time when the landscape is the most competitive, when everybody can pay players. So it's not even had this happened 10 years ago, Dion probably have the most stacked roster in college football, or one of them. Right, I think. Right. Just because, but because it's spread even more thin, and Colorado doesn't have that pedigree of getting guys to the league like an Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, USC, the big schools. I think it's harder to get those players. Another thing I think is holding him back is the fact that he's coaching his sons. I think that when Shedeur is gone, because Shedeur, he has not sold me on him as a quarterback, as a leader of. I don't think he's a leader.
I'll say this: he's got all the tools in the world. This is not a thing where I'm going to be one of these idiots that's going to be like, "Oh, Shedeur can't pass. He's just an athlete." That's ridiculous. That kid has a phenomenal arm. He understands defenses. He makes good reads. He goes to the right place with the football. He's got every tool to be a phenomenal quarterback, but he doesn't have what you said. He's not a leader. The guys in the locker room aren't going to take him seriously. He tries to act like something he's not, like some kind of like tough guy chip on his shoulder thing. Everybody in the room can smell that on him. He's not. You know what I mean? It's like he's one of these guys. He's just not a leader. Like you say, he's not.
Yeah, you know? And that to me, I think is, and that's the thing, is like you have like your field general is, it was weird because Travis Hunter was the real star of that team. And and I'm not saying that Shedeur tried to steal his shine. I wouldn't say that, but it was weird that team had two of the same type of player on it. Like and one was that dude, one was the playmaking guy that fucking put the team on his back on both sides of the ball and is a good leader and shows by example. And Shedeur to me is like, when it's good, it's going good. When it's bad, it's bad. And he should be the one that's got his head held high and not calling people out.
You can't go to press conferences talking about how many times did I get sacked today. You can't do that shit.
Exactly. And so I think
that's the difference. Like Travis Hunter's the kid that's hungry and working toward a Rolex, and Shedeur's the kid that took the field already wearing one.
Yeah. I think that they got what's the name? Juju Lewis or Juju Anderson? I don't know his name.
Yeah.
They got like a top quarterback committed.
Yes.
To come and take the keys. Right.
We'll see.
I think they'll be better because I think how it is. These guys grow up when you're an elite athlete. You grow up around all the other elite athletes. You guys are at the same camps. You know them, and I don't think people wanted to play with Shedeur.
Oh, that I would agree with you wholeheartedly.
And I think that you get a guy in place who people want to play with, and I think that things will start clicking.
This is kind of, but this is all
Deion.
kind of making my point though, is that like he's a great recruiter and he can acquire the great talent, and that'll get you 10 and 11 wins in college football. Not a good football coach. The kids he's got on that team this year, had a good coach had that team, they would have won the Big 12 easily. They'd be competing for the national championship. Like, as far as the people that don't want to go there, he got the top offensive lineman in the portal last year, I believe, and 2 or 3 other really good ones. Changed over the whole offensive line. Do you know what the percentage of turnover on his roster has been in the 2 seasons he's been there? His first season, it was like 75%. He kicked everybody else out the door, brought his own guys in. And of his own guys he brought in, the very next class he had turned over 63% of those guys, sent them packing, and brought in 63% new guys into that locker room. So he's turning over that talent like crazy, which I guess that's another thing that kind of just sticks in my craw. I don't like that. I don't like that because people go, well, these guys are making money now. No, they're not. People don't understand that. The quarterback they bring in will make money. The running back they bring in will get NIL money. Those offensive linemen, the one guy that was the top guy, he might get some pennies. Some other guys ain't getting nothing. Them receivers, them DBs, they ain't getting nothing. They ain't getting nothing, man. They get, you know what I mean? Like, and everybody acts like they're getting paid. They're not. So for him to bring these guys in and then tell them hit the door, this ain't the NFL, man. That he's trying to get his degree. He's working on scholarship, and you're coming in and you ain't paying him no money. And you're telling him, hit the road. I know I talked you into coming here, but I don't need you anymore. Hit the road.
Well, what better way to teach someone about the real world than by, than with blunt and honesty, and that's just how it works.
Well,
that's
sort
the
of.
business of football.
You're not wrong, but sort of.
Like,
the message used to be in the locker room too, that here's what you need to do to take the spot, work to get it. Now the message is just hit the door. I'll bring in somebody else. You know what I mean? And it's like,
but that's the thing. And look where that's gotten Dabo Swinney off the cliff.
He's not doing. Yeah. You got to play like they're ruining.
And that's what.
Football.
And that's my word. And yeah, they're going to have to regulate. And that's my worry with Bill Belichick. Nobody's going to want to come play for Belichick after a year. They're not.
I don't know. Maybe
they're not going to want to have it hard. They're not going to.
I think there are some guys that do. How many guys went and played at Alabama and you knew that was the deal? You were going in there to get coached hard by Nick Saban.
How many?
To the NFL?
How many had to?
Yeah,
and who left as soon as who left as soon as the NIL became a thing? Nick Saban.
Listen, he couldn't take it. You're right about that. You are right about that. But I will just make this point on the way out on this topic is I do believe that for every kid out there that is a 4 or 5 star recruit that wants to go to Colorado because he wants to be the king of Instagram and be a star and be everywhere with his Rolly and all that, I believe there's another kid that is quietly just a football player that's just as good that goes, I don't want that circus, man. I'll go to North Carolina and let this guy coach me to get to the league. I just want to play ball. There's some kids like that.
Hey, I believe you, but he's going to need a lot of those kids.
He's going to need a lot.
He's going to need a lot of those kids.
He's going to need a lot. He's going to need a lot.
Because North Carolina you're not the big man on campus as on that football team.
No, but here will be the difference.
Basketball players are. The basketball players are. It's a different culture.
You give Bill Belichick 60% of the roster, like we're saying right now. You give Bill Belichick like, okay, he's going to get 60% of kids, where Colorado's going to get 100% of these great players. And put those teams against each other, give them 2 weeks to prepare. I bet you Bill Belichick beats me on.
And let me just say, you can have the last word, but let me just throw this out there.
Sure.
What if you're a recruit? If I'm a recruit and I'm recruiting to flip a kid from North Carolina, you know what I'm going to say?
Yeah,
you'll be lucky if Bill's going to be there all 4 years for you. What did he? First thing he did, he lined his son up to take the job over. Which Belichick are you signing up to play for?
Yeah, they're gonna play that.
That's all I'm saying. Which is
a reality everywhere. Like my son's been in college 3 years and played for 3 different coaches. I mean, that's the reality everywhere.
It's the reality, I mean? And so that's why I say the Belichick experiment. I think it's more of. Let me just try to challenge.
Sure.
I would be surprised if he makes it to the top 8 if he makes it to the second round of the playoffs.
I'll be
I'll
surprised
give
if
him
he gets
that.
in the playoffs next year.
I mean, it's the AFC. It's so yeah.
ACC. Yeah.
I
Well,
don't think
here's
it'll happen immediately, but I'm just saying I don't see people wanting to play for him.
sure.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
Here's another thing that all this is leading to right here, Jerron. This was tweeted out from half by Texas linebacker Colin Simmons. Posted this picture of Scadaboo's meltdown on the sideline. I'm done with this. I'm done. When he was going crazy about something that happened during one of the plays. You watched the game. You saw his meltdown when Texas took the 2-score lead. My man went into the locker room at halftime, got on his phone, and made an Instagram post. And what happened in the second half of that game? Arizona State come back, tied up the game. Should have won the game. That was my man. I know we're not going to disagree right here. Disagree with me or don't. How is that not targeting that call? How did they not call that target?
Well, to be fair, they didn't call it. And I was at the game and I was cheering for Arizona State. But to be fair, they didn't call it on when Isaiah Bond got hit. They targeted him. He got hit with a targeting call.
Yeah,
I think it was too much. There was too much on the line for them to call it right there.
I agree.
But man, I had tickets to two of the greatest college football games ever I gave those tickets up. One was the Georgia-Oklahoma Rose Bowl with Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
And the other was Georgia-Ohio State at the Peach Bowl.
That was a good one.
And I kept my Peach Bowl. I couldn't sell my Peach Bowl tickets this year for anything worth selling, so I'm like, I'll go check it out. Man, was that the greatest college football game I've ever been to? That was so good. And watching Scadabo, like watching that performance was just even thinking about it just makes it just gives me goosebumps. Like, I'm so glad I got to witness that. That dude was incredible. He was incredible. I've never seen a player take over a game like that in football ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
The closest thing for me would have been this guy right here with Charles Woodson, and go out there and take a ball to the house, return a kick to the house, pick off a ball, take it. But no, the way Scadaboo did it, it was crazy. And I get where those referees, I agree with you. I get where they were at the end of the game. They probably got together and go, look, we don't want the game to be decided on this. But when you go under that hood, that's not even a close one, man. That's like getting together and watching the biggest hold takedown. And then you go, well, let's just not call it because then the game. No, man, like that was agreed. Like that one, I hate the targeting rule in college football. I hate that they can stop a game and go look for one, even when no one called it. I hate that. I hate everything about it. But when they showed the replay on this one, I went, listen,
honestly, I didn't even see it.
You can't not have it. You know what
I
mean?
honestly didn't see the replay. I think when the play happened, I didn't see it. So I didn't even,
you didn't see the replay.
But I did see the Isaiah Bond one. And I was cheering for, I remember everyone reacting to it, but I remember when Isaiah Bond got hit and they didn't call targeting there. I'm like, and maybe they owed him one. And that happens sometimes. It
does, man, but
it happens sometimes. Like even with the fucking, the Falcons Commanders game. Going back to that, I hate to harp on it, but like the Commanders were getting called for so many things early in the game that they were guilty of, that I think the refs were like, in the second half, they were like, we can't keep calling it on them because at this point, it looks like we're trying to help the Falcons win.
Now there's some,
and there were so many fucking holding calls, PI calls that just did not get called in the game and the back half. And I think a lot of that is the human element of being a referee. And that's, I would rather get rid of, I want them gone. I wish that's the job I want AI to take. I want them to be so good that it can be, I want to just to know. I want to know.
AI won't be able to do it because we'll have a replay on every single play and we'll have 3 holding calls on every single play. They're like, that's holding, that's holding, that's holding, that's holding. I mean, we just, I don't know. You go back and look at the replay of this one and this kid catches the ball and his foot doesn't even hit the ground yet, and he's turning with the ball in his hand. And my man comes in, crowning the helmet right through his face mask and just destroys him. I'm like, this is one of the ones where they show the replay and you go, my man, you did it. You cost your team the game. Because the kid's in midair. It wasn't like you couldn't avoid it type thing. It wasn't like it was a running back run. Kid's in midair. You could have went through his midsection. I mean, he went right upstairs, and it was like, oof. But anyway, they gave up the 4th and 13.
You know what was weird, though?
On them.
What was weird was at that game, I've never seen this before, and I've been to a college game before at that stadium, is you could see what they were looking at under the hood. On the Jumbotron.
Oh, really?
They had it like where it had all the angles. It looked like someone was making a mistake in what they were that they shouldn't have been showing us. Like you could see them looking at which options to choose in every angle. It was weird. It had like 20 different angles, and they would click on one. And then there was a first down that it was either short or shouldn't have been a first down. And it got called the opposite. And everyone was like, what the fuck? We just saw you see that it was what it was. Like it was, I don't remember if it was either the ball was spotted short or it was called a first down and it wasn't. But everyone was looking at it. And so I don't know. College to me is even more shadier than pro, where they're like, nah, hell no. How much did we pay? How much did the SEC pay to have somebody in the Final Four?
Right. I'm just telling you right now, if that was the other way around, Texas would have got that targeting call. They would have got it.
For sure. But that lets me know that SEC was like, look, you can have Georgia. They're like,
oh, I see where you're going. You got me. You walked me right.
You can have Georgia,
right over that trap door.
But we need Texas in there. This is their big thing, like their debut.
You got me. You got me. That was the old, here, stand right there. Stand right there. He pulled the lever out on me. Got me. Walked me right into it, man.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
All right, this is the last knock it off, and then we're going to have some big six picks here, but I have to get to this one quickly here, Jerron. You remember all the great ad campaigns we had last year for the college football playoff, man? You had like the great mascot commercials, right? The Heisman House stuff is always hilarious and awesome. Love the Heisman House stuff. And then you got the Allstate commercials with my man Mayhem. You know what I mean? He's doing the crazy stuff. Those are funny. This is this year's ad campaign for Allstate.
They can save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check your school's saying first before saying it.
High tide! High tide, guys! High tide! High tide! High tide! High tide!
It's roll tide.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Jerron, why, if I have to watch this commercial one more time during the college football playoffs, what is this campaign? What guy doesn't know his team's catchphrase and shows up there yelling high tide? What is it about the entertainment industry when they're doing a show or a movie about sports, or they want to do a sports ad campaign, that they clearly have a room full of people that don't know fuck all about sports? Who sat in that room and thought this is clever and funny and everyone will think this is funny? It's like nails on a chalkboard, is it not?
I can tell you who, but I'm not going to say it on camera. I will say this though, that sports needs to stay sports.
Yes.
It's not going to fail no matter what you say, what you do. Let sports be sports. Let it be the toxic masculinity that it's supposed to be. Do you remember the Coors Light Twins commercial? You remember that with when it was like it was like the rock and roll band. It's like, I love football on TV, and it always ended with like, and twins, and it's like,
oh yeah, yes. I remember. That's the epitome. That's the exact
I miss those days of like when sports were like, the commercials were like like very male driven, and I don't think it's exclusive. I don't think it excludes women, because it's like our thing. Like, I'm not saying that women can't be a part of it, but like football is a male thing, right? Like they don't make women, they don't make women things male things in the commercial. They keep them women things. And I'm not saying that
I'm not seeing a commercial curb to me during a housewife show. I promise.
Exactly.
There's not going to be a commercial on there.
And so I say that to say, I'm not saying that a woman was responsible for that commercial that we just saw, but I'm saying like that the marketing behind it is like, it's not that hard.
The marketing behind it, let's just be honest right here. The marketing behind this commercial is, let's get inclusive. Some of the other sports stuff you're talking about is a little too deep divey into sports, and I think we'll lose some people there. Let's keep it neutral. Let's keep it kind of lighthearted and funny and inclusive. And you know what you did? You're 80% of your audience, that's the sports nuts, watch that thing and went, you've insulted my intelligence. You've insulted my intelligence. This is
or it's more just what?
It's terrible. It's terrible. Why would this guy show up yelling high tide? Like, what? It's nails on a chalkboard. I'm not even a Bama fan. I'm like, what is this?
If you're making a commercial for a football, if you want people to talk about your product, and you have a slot during a football game, you have the easiest audience in the world.
Please.
Just make it just hard comedy joke, and people are going to go, yo, did you see that commercial?
Hilarious.
It's simple. You have the easiest
Those
audience.
Heisman House commercials are hilarious. And this is Allstate. You got mayhem. Do some mayhem at the tailgate or something, man.
Or even the fucking expensive. Don't they? Oh no, that's Dr. Pepper that does the state.
Yeah, the state like that. Clever, funny. You know what I mean? Like some of the jokes, like you got to know what they're saying to get the joke. You know what I mean? But listen, I'm not even getting in on this needs to be smarter. This is terrible. Whoever brought this into the room, somebody should have looked across the room and go, did you put one sports-minded person on the board to put this together?
They do the West Virginia commercial too, right?
That's stupid.
Virginia?
Yeah, and they walk down the end. Oh, hey, I'm the W. Why? What am I watching? Do you know how often those guys paint their chests and get drunk and they got the wrong words up there? Stupid. Stupid. Like, just stop it.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
I can't take it. I'll break my TV. Anyways, man, we're going to be tailgating for the games this week, especially the Lions and the Vikings. And you know what we're going to be enjoying while we're tailgating. As always,
Brass monkey, that funky monkey, brass monkey chunky.
Yes, sir. We'll be rocking our brass monkeys for the game. That's how we do it, because it's the official beer choice of DWMOD podcast. Old English 800. Get yourself a splash of orange juice in there. Forget the champagne and the mimosas and all those early breakfast drinks that give you heartburn and all that heavy beer and shit. Get you some brass monkeys and enjoy your tailgate, baby. And that brings us to the Big 6 Picks, brought to you by the official beer choice of DWMOD podcast. Old English 800. That's the tiger in all of us. You know what I mean? Let's get it moving. All right, Jerron. Big 6 Picks is in the house. This is it. This is the end of the season. Also, the end of our ESPN fantasy football season for DWMOD. So quick shout out to the boys there. Abhi Singh was the champion for us this year for Eagles Unleashed. He won the league, won himself an NFL custom jersey of his choice, and our high scorer, the most high score weeks of the season.
Fuck, I should have played.
I told you.
I know, but I was overwhelmed.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people are in leagues, but we had a lot of people reach out to us on the social media. We selected 10 teams to be in the Gordon Butterfield Invitational. And for the first 5 weeks of the season, whoever posted the most high scores got a jersey. Turned out to be Andy. He's one of the co-hosts, so no jersey there. The rest of the season won by our own Anthony Finelli. He's on our playoff challenge every year with the eternal 1999 team, which I think is a shout out to Bone Thugs. I loved it. He also wins a custom jersey of his choice for having the most high scores. So congratulations, guys. Thanks for playing along. Gordon Butterfield Invitational ESPN Fantasy Football Challenge. We'll be doing that again next year. Now, the Big 6 Picks. We are in the final week of the season here, Jerron. I am in first place at 50-40 with a +1 on the over-unders. The guest pickers are in last place right now, buddy. Andy is in second at 44-46 with a -4. Guest pickers are in last place, 39-51 after Dunbar Dixon went 0-6 last week.
Yeah, I don't know what trash guest pickers you've been having, but I know my percentage on this show is like I'm like 5-1 or 4-2, right?
I think you went 4-2.
I think it's like
believe
4-2.
Yeah, I think you did that first week. I could pull it up really quickly toward the end here easily. I have a little spreadsheet on here. But do you know the most valuable money picks we've been giving out all year long? Number one have been our college money line dogs on All Right Bet every Tuesday, the free NFL and NCAA picks. I think we were like 29-16 or something like that on money line dogs in college football, which was good. We made a lot of money on that. The second biggest moneymaker for us this year, picks-wise, the guest pickers over-unders, +11. That's 18 weeks of 6 games a week, +11 on the over-unders. That's ridiculously good. Ridiculously good. So guest pickers, even though they're in last place, have handed out some money, Jerron. Let's get to this first game, the Bahamas Bowl in the NCAA. We got University of Buffalo -3 versus Liberty at 50-5. At 50.5 is the over/under there. Who do you like in this one?
If I had to pick this game, like I have a rule when it comes to the who gives a fuck bowls. I just go with the favorite just because, like, who gives a fuck? Right? Like, I feel like they have enough talent that they're coming in as a favorite to be good and win the game and win it by enough because, again, who gives a fuck? So I'm going to go Buffalo -3.
Okay.
That's who I'm taking. And because they're playing in the Bahamas, I'm going to take the under because I don't think anyone's going to really be locked into this game, the players or the fans. I think they just want to hang out. I'm sure they got all their friends and family there to chill, and no one wants to be fucking walking around with a torn Achilles or a torn ACL on the beach. So
No.
I think this is going to be a very low scoring game, won by Buffalo. They're going to cover the spread.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you what, Andy St. Clair is going to be on Buffalo laying the 3 points, and he'll be on the over. And I'm going to tell you, Jerron, I'm going to be with him on that. Number one, I'm rolling with the MAC. I'm always rolling with the MAC. They normally don't do well in bowl games. This year, they've shut everybody up. They've been beating teams and beating them pretty well. MAC looking good. I'm going to take Buffalo laying the 3 to a Liberty team who I think is a little decimated by the transfer portal, could be, but I'm going to take the over as well because it's kind of the opposite of what you said every year in this Bahamas Bowl. Them guys just go down there and just have fun, and these games are usually like 42-40. They just get crazy. So I'm going to be on Buffalo, and I'll be on the over there. Let's jump to the FCS National Championship game. We got Montana State -3.5 to North Dakota State. Montana State Bobcats are the favorite in this game over North Dakota State, who's won 3 of the last 4, I believe, national titles for FCS. Who do you like in this one?
North Dakota State, man.
Okay.
How do you pick against them? They are the fucking dynasty of the FCS. Like they win all the time. So if anything, it's in their pedigree. I'm never taking the favorite in that's favored by 3.5 points.
Yeah.
So give me North Dakota State +3.5, even though they have the ND initials.
Yeah.
Which I'm still scarred from by the Notre Dame. I got to roll with North Dakota State. They've shown me nothing but a winning pedigree. So give me them. Championship game. I don't know. I take the under in this one. I can't say I've watched much FCS football, but if I had to bet it, just give me the under because it's championship. I don't know. I feel like both of these teams are like play gritty, just by the state names.
Yeah,
the states that they live in.
They do.
They play gritty, hard nosed, run the football kind of football. Yeah. I think 56.5 points is a lot.
And I'm going to tell you right now, Andy St. Clair agrees with you on the under in this game. He likes the under in this game, but he's rolling with Montana State. And I am going to mimic the both of you and be on the under here. And I'm going to take Montana State. They've been number one since the beginning of the season. It's the wrong pick. Anybody that's gambling right now, Jerron is right. You don't play against the hook here. It is the wrong pick. But I got to pick from my boy Laser, Jim Starr from American Gladiators. Y'all know him, friend of the show. He's been on the show with us a couple of times already, played for the Rams, was an All-American at Montana State, big-time Bobcats fan. I got to give it up to Jim. I got to give it up to Laser. I'm going to go with the Bobcats in this one. All right, let's jump to a team that I know you're not fond of here. Playing in the semifinals. Notre Dame laying 1.5 to Penn State. The over-under is 46.5. Who do you like in this one?
Give me Penn State the over. I think they're going to beat the shit out of Notre Dame. I don't think Notre Dame is that good of a team. Their offense is fucking garbage. They just got fucking lucky. They were a lot more lucky than we were last night. I think Notre Dame is terrible. And I think Penn State, they showed me a lot. I thought that I thought that they were gonna I thought that Penn State was going to struggle in their game, but their offense looked like it was clicking. Notre Dame's offense is so vanilla. I'm not sold on them as a team. Georgia just was not that good this year. So I'll take Penn State in the over.
All right, going to take Penn State and the over. Andy is going to be on Notre Dame and the under after just watching what happened. He's going to be on Notre Dame and the under. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be on Notre Dame and the under as well. I think that a good defensive team is a matchup problem for Penn State. I think Penn State has looked stagnant on offense all year long, and their defense has been the telltale for them. And I think they got a really lucky draw in the first two games that they had to play in this playoff. So their offense has been looking good. And I believe that the eye test right now is Penn State and Eller finally figured it out on offense. I think when they run into Notre Dame's defense, we're going to see more of the same. I think we're going to see Notre Dame and the under in this one. That's where I'm going to land on that. Seen too much of Penn State this year. I just think they're a bigger fraud than Notre Dame is. I just watched Notre Dame play a really good Georgia team and live up to the challenge.
All right, Georgia team.
Well, that's a good team, though. In the country, that's one of the best teams in the country. I wouldn't argue Boise State was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have argued. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's just where I'm leaning. I could be wrong. Penn State might have figured it out, but I'll be on ND and the under. Let's jump to the NFL. Playoff implications on the line tonight. Cincinnati Bengals at Pittsburgh. You know what's on the line. Cincinnati has to win this game or they're eliminated, and Pittsburgh has to win this game or they got to go to Baltimore in the first round. They do not want that. So you got both teams willing to play here. Over under 48.5. Who do you like in this one? Yeah, it's one of those games.
It's one of those games. It's tough, and it's AFC North. I never like to take the over in these games if I have to bet them.
Yeah,
I never like to take the over unless the Ravens defense is trash. So if this was like the Ravens playing one of these teams, I would, the over would, the point total would definitely be higher. But yeah, Pittsburgh's defense is just too good. The Bengals are desperate and hungry and feisty. But if I had to bet the money, damn. I wouldn't even want to bet the money on this game. I gotta take. It's just too many factors to weigh. I'm gonna say. Matter of fact, Chase Brown is hurt, right?
I think so. He was, but he looks to be. Well, you can't go by anything on Prize Picks. They got him all over Prize Picks for touchdowns and shit like that, and that's what they do. They'll get you to play a guy that ain't even playing. So he may be out. He may be out.
I don't know. I think I got to go Pitts. I got to go Pittsburgh with the points. They're at home. My gut says this is going to be this is because I'm never sold on Pittsburgh's offense. They when they score a lot of points, I'm always surprised. So I got to take I think this is going to be one of those games where the Bengals probably score 17 points and the Steelers kick 6 field goals and
Could
win
be.
18-17.
Could
So
be.
give me Pittsburgh and the under.
Yeah, by the way, I'll be all over Boswell on the Prize Picks more than 1.5 field goals this week. 100%. Guarantee you that's on my Prize Pick this week.
Yeah.
Now, Andy's going to be on Pittsburgh as well, and he's going to be on the over, and I'm going to be on the same thing with him just because even though the Bengals have been losing like crazy, they get beat 41-38. Like, they'll score 30. They're going to score. Joe Burrow quietly is having an all-pro season, and they can't win a game. I mean, if this team was 13 and something, he'd be in the mix for the discussion of MVP. But they can't win, so he's not. I mean, what was a crazy stat we gave out last week? Something like he's the only quarterback in history to have like 3,500 yards and 36 touchdowns through the first 14 weeks and like have only 6 wins or some crazy shit like that. I forget what it was. It was something crazy like that. But anyway, they're playing well. They're scoring points like crazy, and their defense is a sieve, giving up points like crazy. So I'm going to jump on the over here, and I'm going to play by our rule on DWMOD. You do not bet against Mike Tomlin as a dog. Mike Tomlin's a favorite. Bet against him. If he's the dog, you bet Mike Tomlin. I'm with you guys. I'll be playing Pittsburgh plus the 2.5. And if you're gambling this weekend, guys, buy the point, make it 3.5, win the money. All right. Let's jump to the next game here. Playoff implications, sorta. Dolphins -1 at the Jets, 38.5. Dolphins got to win the game. I really don't think it matters. They're out anyway, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now quickly for me, I'll be on the Dolphins just because they have to win the game, and I'll be on the under because both of these teams suck. And Andy's on the other side. He's going to take the Jets, but he's going to take the over. Where do you land?
Same. Jets and the over, because Tua's not playing. Right?
I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think so.
And that offense, and without a competent quarterback, is they underperform all the time. And I think that the Jets defense, even if they're a little banged up, and I could see them getting some defensive touchdowns. This is at New York. Is Rodgers even playing?
He's going to play, and there's a lot of talk that it may be his last game.
Last game, yeah. I could see this being like
to go out and to lose with the Jets. Come on, right?
No, I think the Jets are gonna. I could see like multiple, turnovers, maybe a defensive touchdown, and I could see them running the score. I mean, I don't know. The Jets are just they've got the talent to beat teams. They're just not there. Well, this is their Super Bowl. They get a chance to eliminate a team out of the playoff race, even though
the only problem is that whole team doesn't want to play for Aaron Rodgers the same way none of the teams he's ever played for have wanted to play for Aaron Rodgers. Nobody likes the guy. That's why if you put a gun to my head 100 times out of 100 and said Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers, I'm like Favre every time, because every guy in that locker room is willing to die for Favre, and every guy in that locker room hates Aaron Rodgers. I would love to see him lose the game. I'm just picking sentimentally because I got a little cushion in this lead here. I'm 50-40, right? I got a little cushion.
Yeah, you got to be safe. Yeah.
All right, game of the week. Game of the week, man. Vikings, Lions. Never happened in NFL history. Both teams are 14-2. The winner is the number 1 seed and king of the North. The loser is the number 5 seed. Crazy. This is unprecedented NFL territory here. Andy's going to be on Detroit, and he's going to take the under, which I kind of don't understand. What do you think, Jerron?
I'm taking Detroit, especially after the showing they had on Monday Night Football, when they didn't even have to. I mean, they took like belt to ass, and that mindset. I mean, and I don't care how many games the Vikings have won. They're not that good. I don't see them as a team that is that good. I see them as a team that won a lot of games. I'm not sold on them, because I saw what the Falcons contended with them until the game we were in the game until we weren't. It took one mistake for us to be down 14 and then from there the game is over at that point. But I don't know. We were able to move the ball on them with our indecisive identity, and Kirk Cousins at quarterback. I feel like the Detroit is so locked in. I could see this being a blowout game, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings are one and done against probably the Bucks. I think they'd have to go down to Tampa and play the Bucks.
Yeah,
If
they're
the
going to have to go play the Bucks. Yep.
Yeah, that's assuming I mean, I want the Falcons to win, but I'm not getting my hopes up. I want us to be there and them to have to come to Atlanta, but I just don't see the Saints beating the Bucks. So
I'm putting $1 million on the Bucks to cover this weekend.
Yeah,
$1 million.
Yeah, yeah. I think Detroit wins dramatically, and they make a statement. Like this game is like at home, where they've got the best offense in the NFC. They're at home. This is for the first round bye and home field advantage through the playoffs. You're going to see,
which is a big deal because this Detroit home crowd is louder and crazier than and rightfully so. And rightfully so. It's a football town to begin with, and you've sucked for 100 years. You got a contender on the line right now. Every play, you watch these interviews of these players and coaches, and even the broadcasters are like, nothing is like going to a Detroit Lions game right now. It is mayhem. So that's everything. That home field is everything, man. I'm with you. Detroit big.
It's gonna to me. It is gonna. And I called the Ohio State game against Oregon. I was like, it was too close last time. It was in Oregon. Yeah, and it just and it felt like and going back to college, I think that first round bye is not an advantage. You've got a fucking I'm sorry to harp, but you've got teams that haven't played a game in a month.
Yeah,
coming off of now they got to play a team that just played 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they got to bump the games back. Yeah,
that's terrible. That's like
you can give them 1 week off. You can't give them 4. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so I think that to me the Lions, they looked so good against the Niners that they looked like they had that running start. They were everything was working for them. Fuck, they were doing hooking ladders and shit. I don't know. I think Detroit's gonna beat the shit out of the Vikings in Detroit, and then
I hope so.
And then that's the last time you'll see them this season. So I think the Vikings are one and done.
I hope so, man. I hope so. I'm with you. I'm
no matter who
Lions,
they play.
Big time. Detroit taking the over. Let's roll. Give it to me, Kong. Boom. Let's roll them, man. Let's roll them. Yeah. Detroit to the Super Bowl. All right, guys. That is it for Big 6 Picks on the 2024 season. You know what we'll be doing, the same as we do every year. We'll be rolling into the playoff challenge next week. Anthony Finelli is usually our guest that is in every single week, and we pick every single game against the spread, over, under, and outright. And we'll keep a tally throughout the playoffs, and we'll crown a playoff challenge champion at the end of that season. Jerron, if you'd like to be a part of that, you're more than welcome to jump in on that thing with us, and we can go 4 guys going this year. Yeah. It's a lot of fun, man. What we do is we pick those games every week, and if you pick the winner outright, you get 1 point. You pick the winner against the spread, you get 2 points, and if you nail the over-under, you get 3 points, and we keep a tally.
I would absolutely love to win this.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
I think I have the best pick percentage in this podcast.
I think we had one or two other guests go 5-1 as well.
I went 5. What did I do?
Up right now?
I think it was 4-2, but if I went 5-1, I remember 4-2. 4-2, yeah.
4-2. 4-2. And I can roll right down this list right now and see if we had any. We had one guest, Dunbar, went 5-1. He came back on the show last week to go 0-6. So you're better than him.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I got the best. I'm sure I got the best win pick percentage.
Yeah, he was. We got a couple of 4-2, 4-2, 4-2. Just the 1-5-1. So yeah, 4-2 was the best mark for a guest picker this year, and you were right there with 3 or 4 other people. Yep. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
So that's it, man. Well, then we'll have you back. I'll be in touch this week, and we will do it. We'll have 4 teams. Andy is the back-to-back champ in that thing. Anthony won it the first year. I won it the second year, and Andy won it last year and the year before to be the first back-to-back champ. So we're looking to knock them off. My man, we went a little over today, but well worth it. We got into some stuff, had a good time, man. Always thankful to have you on the show. Appreciate the time, brother.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be a part of this. I'm excited to, take y'all's money or whatever we're playing for in the playoffs. Looking forward to being back, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Hey, we'll catch you next time.
All right.
We cutting loose.
Touchdown.
Ready? College football is now B1G versus SEC.
Down. Hut.
If you ain't listening to All Right Bet with me and Andy St. Clair, you're throwing away money.
Ready?
All Lions fans drinking that Kool-Aid. Super Bowl. Hey, disagree with me or don't. That's how it works.